Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing, dndmroofing.com. Well, this is the only show in the metro area that talks about the growth and development of said metro area. And without any further ado, it's time to bring on my good friend and co-host. He is a legendary real estate deal maker in the flesh, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, I am so excited for tomorrow.
What's that?
Because it's the unofficial first day of spring. Have you looked at the 2-day or the 2-week forecast?
No.
It's looking really good. Like today's the last cold day for a while.
We'll take it.
It's almost like it's springtime. Although it is meteorological spring as of March 1st, and that's what I go by. Trenton, let's go into our news of the week. And that is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They're located at 114th and Davenport Street. They've been there for a long time. They've been doing mortgages for over 30 years. FHA, VA, and of course, conventional. So if you want to get a mortgage, go to Eagle Mortgage Company. They'll work with you and kind of counsel you and coach you a little bit and take care of the T crossing and I dotting. And if you're thinking about buying a new house, we know it's going to be another crazy market this year. And so you want Eagle Mortgage in your back pocket and on your side. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, Trenton, the big news this week, we had a big story in the newsletter this week about the 30-30-30 plan. And basically, the city of Omaha is embracing this plan, which calls for 30,000 jobs and 30,000 residents to be added to the urban core within...
by 2030.
30 years. Or is it I think it's 230 years.
By 2030.
Oh, 2030. Okay, that's right. Oh, yeah, because 30 years, we should probably add a heck of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 8 more years to do it. Come on, guys.
All right. So, but here's here's some interesting things to consider. The urban core is defined as the Missouri River out to 50th Street. And on the south side, it would be Woolworth Street. And on the north side, it would be Cumming Street. So it's a long rectangle. And it's a significantly populated area already. A lot of the major employers and institutions are there. However, since the mid-1960s, that corridor, the urban core, has lost a net of 21,000 jobs.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so what we want to do is not only get those 21,000 jobs back, but 9,000 more, and then, of course, add 30,000 people. Meanwhile, the area has already seen quite a bit of investment, right, in that area over recent years. So the thought is, okay, what do we have to do in order to physically fit 30,000 more jobs and 30,000 residents in that urban core? And as you might imagine, it means build up.
Yeah, and kudos to Mayor Stother's administration, the planning department, the planning board, the city council. Jay Noddle graciously heads the Urban Core Committee since I think about 2018. So they've been doing this for a long time, and the fruits of their labor, the studies and things they put in place, including the new streetcar, is moving right along, pun intended, and all the ancillary development that's happening in the Urban Core Committee or in the Urban Core.
Yeah, in fact, one of the ways that the city and other interested stakeholders can make room for these 30,000 people and 30,000 jobs is to get rid of some of our surface parking lots. We've talked about this a fair amount over the last month or so as we've discussed the streetcar plan and all of the growth and development plans for downtown, midtown. But we have thousands and thousands of surface parking stalls that are not used even on the busiest workday in the urban core. And the thought is, okay, through the use of the streetcar, which will allow people to park in various places and go do things in the core, by putting some garages in strategic places, you can take most of those surface parking lot parcels of land and put buildings on them. I mean, if you take a surface parking lot and you replace it with a 4 or 5 story building, you know, your ability to add 30,000 residents to the urban core starts to become doable.
There was a nice article by Cindy Gonzalez in the Nebraska Examiner, and they quoted Dave Fanslaw, the planning director, and he basically said, when we look at these areas, the plan is we need to build up instead of out. In other words, get density. And, some single-family residents and some people that have big, larger pieces of land and stuff may not like having an apartment complex next door to them or whatever. But it's important to either grow a city or let it decline. And so not only are you going to see parking lots get built on, you'll see some parking garages and things like that. And we don't know when it's going to be, but it could be another 10 or 15 years. But when there's autonomous cars that drive themselves and people share cars like they share other things, and there might be a pool of so many families that share some cars that drive around, and then those cars, when they can park themselves, they can park a couple inches apart. You can shrink some of those parking lots. And also through the miracles of technology and apps and all that kind of stuff, just think when you're able to say, where's the nearest parking spot that's available? Mm-hmm. And that way...
Smart parking.
Smart parking. And then also utilizing the parking spaces during the day for office dwellers and then at night for residential dwellers. I envision it. I'm not the guy that's designing the program, but I can see it working.
Yeah, I can too. And, you talk about the autonomous cars, but even in the more immediate times, the streetcar and some of the improvements we've made with Orbit and other planned transit things that could be on the horizon will make it so that you could have a decent percentage of people in that core who don't even bother to own an automobile. Currently in Omaha, that's not been very practical because the city has not reached that kind of density yet. However, here's a quote from a city document that was presented last week to the planning board I thought was interesting. It says, being able to live, work, and access education, healthcare, public services, groceries, and personal services without a car will save residents approximately $400 to $700 a month, which residents can then use for housing and other expenses. This makes market rate housing more affordable for a large segment of the population that otherwise could not afford the same unit while needing to own a car. So I think you'll see some of that. You and I both live suburban. We'll always have cars. We're car guys. But there's a subset of the population that really finds that urban lifestyle appealing. And Omaha has not been dense enough until recently to provide that. You're starting to see a little bit of that. Like, I can remember we talked on this show maybe about 5 or 6 years ago about a couple apartment projects in the downtown area that were actually being built with zero what would be accompanying and dedicated parking stalls. That's new for Omaha.
There's no question that the move of Mutual Omaha by 2026, having that 3-mile streetcar doesn't sound like a large distance. Even I could walk that. But when you
a good day.
Yeah, true. Depends on what I did before and how much I ate. But every quarter mile having a stop. And those people that live around Mutual Omaha and they're going to go work downtown, they can do a lot of things on and off that thing. I'm sure there'll be a place where you can put your bike on there. So different modes of transportation, it could work pretty slick.
Hey, looking at some other news items this week, the City Council recently approved $3.8 million in tax increment financing for a $22 million mixed-use building to be constructed southeast corner of 38th Avenue and Dodge Street. We've talked about it before when it was just in the planning stages, but it's got the green light now. It's a 6-story building, 131 apartment units, ground-level commercial space. We'll have to remove 3 houses and 1 small commercial building to make way for it. Should be a great, you talk about density on a public transit line. If you're trying to picture where this is, if you're familiar with that area, 38th Avenue, on the west side of that street is a Taco Bell. And just to the south of it, a block or two, you get into the heart of the Blackstone district. So it's right there on 38th Avenue and Dodge. And that'll be a nice addition. And then another interesting item looking further out west. You may remember we talked a while back about Streck Labs, nice company, employs 400 people with headquarters in La Vista, 117th and Harrison Street. They're building their own apartment complex. This is going to be 84 units, $15 million project, their own apartment complex. And the thought is provide subsidized housing for employees close to where they go to work. Well, that first building is really coming along nicely. It's the wood framing is going up, looks like about a typical 3-story apartment building.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work around there, and Harrison Hills development. They have a big industrial building there as well. So it's a nice addition, and apartments are needed in that area.
So the legislature gave first-round approval this week to a legislative bill that would start what will probably be a very long process of hopefully building the 7-mile, 4,000-acre lake along the Platte River west of Gretna. So this first-round approval, I believe there has to be 3, but many, many hurdles exist.
It sailed through, though, pretty well.
It did, pun intended, sailed through.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well played. I don't know. I'm really hopeful for this. I think it would make a huge difference, but I just know there's probably going to be some environmental extremists that are going to come out against it. There could be some legitimate concerns about groundwater for City of Lincoln and City of Omaha water supply. We'll find out.
Start that hate mail coming. I want to state publicly that I am not a fan of the pallid sturgeon.
Well, I will say.
Have you ever seen a picture of a pallid sturgeon?
They are ugly. Now we should save a couple, but I would have to agree that those things are not attractive. But the piping plover is way better looking than the pallid sturgeon, and they're important too.
Yeah, but they're delicious.
In all seriousness, I think this lake would be a great, immeasurably great thing for what we're trying to accomplish in the Omaha area. Would benefit Lincoln as well.
Anybody that goes to Okoboji or Ozarks understands what it could do, and hopefully it's not as seedy as the Ozarks. But
the Ozarks are seedy?
Well, if you watch the show, it kind of...
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were talking...
Like the show. I've been down there. I actually like it, so...
I know that. I've been down there a couple times.
I'm going to get all kinds of mail this week.
I liked it. I saw nothing seedy down there. I mean, I saw a lot of drinking.
That's true.
And some things that happen when people drink a lot.
We have a lot of friends that go down there.
Nothing too seedy. At any rate, that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. You can find them online there or stop by the office 114th in Davenport. Hey, going to take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a cool event coming up for people who are wine enthusiasts. And we're also going to talk about school construction, because there are always, in any given year, there are a ton of schools that are under construction area. Chip Riedman is going to be joining us for that, as he does every year. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Trenton Maggot, and we are the Go Boys, as they call us on KFAB. Go for Grow Omaha, the area's only show that's focused on the growth and development of your favorite city. And we're brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge. And every once in a while, we like to bring on our good friend Chip Riedman. He is a retired construction contractor, and we talked to Chip about school construction. We're going to do that in a moment, but before we get to that, we're going to have Chip talk about something else that he enjoys doing, and that's VinNebraska. First of all, Chip, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me in.
We were talking earlier, we started video recording Grow Omaha shows right about a year ago, and we put them on growomaha.com, and people can go, watch the show as well. We even have a thing called Uncut, where you can watch and see the things we say and do during the commercial breaks. Well, it was right about last year when you were on the show when we started doing that.
Yes, I was kind of surprised to come in and have that come out, that it was a year ago you started, and I was one of the first.
You can see them on the website.
Yeah, in fact, we were shooting still photos for the new website at that time, and you were actually on our website all over the place.
Yes, it's a nice shot of the side of my head with all the gray hair.
Well, it looks good.
Thank you.
That means the new website is about a year old.
That's true, yeah. And then we launched the newsletter on April 8th. The Grow Omaha newsletter launched on April 8th, and we're up over 10,000 subscribers now.
And I enjoy that. I get that every week, and I really enjoy it. I email it to a few people. My daughter, she's in architecture, and she enjoys reading it, so it's a great magazine.
We're 10 or 11,000 people. People are really opted into the newsletter.
Yeah, it's really taken off. So, well, hey, Chip, we always we love this VinNebraska event that happens every year. Tell us about VinNebraska.
It's an annual event held every year. Even through COVID, we made it. The first year of COVID, of course, we had to cancel it because everything was getting canceled. But last year we did it, virtual. But this year we're back in person. We're planning on being live. I don't think anything's going to stop us now. We're looking good. It's been going on for over 30 years now. This is how long this event's been going.
That's the VIN number?
There is no VIN number for it. It's VinNebraska. One word, all put together with two N's in the middle. And you can look it up online, VinNebraska.com. That's where you'd go if you want to get tickets for it.
Okay, so what happens at it?
It's a 2-evening event. There's a Friday evening, which is a little bit more expensive. Sponsors buy tables ranging in value from, up to $10,000 people pay for a table to go there. And it gets down to $39.50, I think, is the lower end. You also get tickets for the Saturday night event. And that is more of an intimate setting where you get to meet the vintners that are there. You'll have one sitting at your table. It's a 6-course meal paired with wines. So we've got approximately 24 vintners coming this year. So that means you're going to have in the range of 20 wines come across your table while you're eating 6 courses of dinner. It's quite the deal and just very enjoyable if you love wine and good food.
Sounds like a good event for Uber.
Yes, it is. It is. It's at the Marriott. I would say you could stay there, but now that we got 2 concerts coming up the same weekend. Oh, it is April 8th and 9th. I probably should say that.
Yep.
April 8th and 9th, Friday and Saturday.
Carlos Santana on Saturday.
Kid Rock.
Oh, so it's a downtown Marriott.
It's a downtown Marriott.
I'm sure there's a lot of crossover between the VinNebraska goers and Kid Rock.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see too much mixing between the two. Actually, we were concerned about that. Yeah, 1 or 2. The concerts will be going on while we're having our event, so we'll be winding down probably when those people are coming back across. I heard the Marriott's got tickets for like $900 a night or something like that. The tickets they have just skyrocketed. And I get it. They're booked up. The Hilton has a major event going on for, I think it's Support Works, is having an event going on there, a big convention. So that booked the Hilton up for most of the weekend. So the Marriott's sitting, in really good catbird seat, I guess you'd say it, for these 2 concerts coming up.
Huh,
but anyway, so that's the Marriott. A little shout out for them. We have a charity every year, and we rotate every year so that different charities get involved. And this year and next year, we'll have the Stevens Center down in South Omaha. Very well-respected organization. They do a lot for the community. They have an emergency shelter for helping people that suddenly find themselves without a home, or they help the homeless. Men, women, families. They have an addiction recovery division or center to the place. They take a lot of donations for helping people. It's just one of the better programs in the city of Omaha for helping people that are just down on their luck.
And kudos to John Hoyt, who gave a lot of money for the Stevens Center. And he's always been a big supporter of that. Yes,
he always has been. He's got a building named after him because of a big donation, and that's I have no problem with people getting a building named after him if they put the money up there for it.
That's not the only one.
It's great. Yeah. So the Stevens Center is the sponsor or the charity we're working with this year. Yeah, the benefactor. So Friday night's the dinner, sponsorship tables. Saturday night is more geared to the individual person. Bring your wife, get a group of people come down. It's $175. Now, I will say this. The ticket prices were supposed to go up, I think like $20 here last Monday, but they haven't done that yet. I don't know if anyone's just not looking. So it's to your benefit. If you're interested in going, get the ticket soon while they're still $175.
And if you put in the promo code Chip Riedman, it'll be the same price.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's the tasting. The tasting is 2 hours from 5 to 7, and the change this year is we're having a dinner instead of having heavy hors d'oeuvres during the event. We want you to stay because we have a big grand auction. Of course, there's a silent auction going on during that time. Baskets, great different products that people have out there. But the vintners will actually be bringing wines, or they'll be offering tastings at their winery for people to bid on. And so now this year, we went to the dinner format because we want people to stick around for it. It's all about raising money for the charity, right? So the more people we have there, hopefully we can get higher bidding going on for the prices because more people will be sticking around.
Well, after they drink those 24 wines, you might get some serious bidding.
Yes.
VinNebraska.com, right?
Yes, VinNebraska.com. There's also a VIP ticket sold. If people want to come an hour early, so it'll be a much smaller crowd, so you'll have a better chance to talk to the vintners.
Pre-game.
Yes, pre-gaming. That's from 4 to 5. If people are interested in that, you can look online and see what the benefits are for that. So that's a new thing this year, too.
All right, well, check it out. It's a great event for a great cause and a lot of fun. And, Chip, we're going to have you hang on with us. We got to take our middle of the show break, and when we come back, you do such a good job of keeping up with all of the schools that are under construction, all these school projects. We're going to touch on that a little bit when we come back from the break. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI, NP Dodge, and D&M Roofing. Back very shortly on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals at your service, sitting next to Trenton Magid from NAI, NP Dodge, Commercial Real Estate. Hey, we're also brought to you by D&M Roofing. During the break, you just heard the voice of Eric Oberumpt. Eric is the owner of D&M Roofing, and we have him on the show periodically. You recognize the name, you recognize the voice, Eric Oberumpt, but I was just talking to him this week, and he was saying, hey, this maintenance program they have for commercial buildings is really taking off because so many people are concerned about protecting their investment. And so they'll work with D&M Roofing, and they can anticipate problems with the roof before they get really expensive. And we strongly recommend that if you are a decision maker for a commercial building or you own one, call D&M Roofing. And we don't give out phone numbers here because they're too hard to remember. So just go online, D&Mroofing.com. All right, we have Chip Riedman with us, a retired construction contractor who does a really good job of keeping up with what's going on in this construction world. And Chip, once a year, we like to give people an update about some of the academic and school projects that are under development at this time.
There's never been a failure of plenty of business going on in the school sector. It's interesting to look at Omaha and the suburbs and how things work and where the growth is. So a few years ago, you could say Bellevue, had a lot of schools going up. Papillion had a lot of schools. Elkhorn has been very, very steady in a lot of schools. There was a point they were building a new elementary school almost every year. I think this almost went on for like 6-7 years. It was constantly new elementary schools, and then it was a middle school or two. Then they got Elkhorn South, and now Elkhorn is building, has another high school. So Elkhorn has dominated a lot of the school construction. Now you can see the swing is going to Gretna and what's going on there. They're kind of almost approaching this new school a year or every 2 years. They had, elementary school number 6 came out in fall of 2020. That's in Falling Waters. These are subdivisions I'm sure you guys know about.
192nd and Harrison. I've got land available.
Yeah.
If you have a gas station, convenience store, or strip center, or food, or whatever you want. Northwest corner of 192nd Harrison.
Well, there are schools.
Thanks, Chip,
you bet. Well, schools are like build it and they will come. You build a school, and it's going to fill the subdivision.
And churches.
And you're going to have other businesses out there. The next one was Harvest Hills, opened 1 year later in fall of 2021. And that's out at 192nd and Schramm. So you see the growth is heading out southwest. Now they're on number 8, which will be coming in, I believe, the fall of 2024. It's just going through the bidding process. It's out about 170th and Giles, which is not too far away from where the Gretna High School is going up, which is at 180th and Lincoln, a little bit farther south, a little bit southwest of there. So it's a new high school. That's going to open up in not this fall, but next fall, 2023. There's a new middle school they're talking about, looking at in 2025. I don't think they picked the location for that yet. So Gretna has got, and also they're talking about Gretna number 9. Elementary school. There's no decisions made. I don't think it's part of this bond issue that was just passed here a couple of years ago, but they got their charts showing what their population is, and it's up, and that means more kids, and more schools.
Kudos to Mayor Mike Evans out in Gretna. He does an amazing job along with his city staff, the planning department, and the city council in Gretna, and the outlet mall is amazing, and we're going to see a lot of great things, and if this lake takes place, Gretna will be even more on fire. But what's interesting, Chip, is how when development and construction times are a little bit slow, which doesn't happen much in our listening area, you see it's a lot of civic projects in schools, but now with all kinds of other development going on, it just adds to it. It's amazing how busy construction is right now.
Yeah, it is crazy, and there's a shortage of trades. It's that situation. Maybe we spent too much time pushing kids into college. They should have been going and becoming, like in my case, we need bricklayers. They need electricians. You look at Facebook and Google what they're doing with the electricians. Those are considered national electrical projects. They don't pull locally. They don't pull regionally.
Travelers.
They pull from the entire nation, trying to get enough electricians to deal with all that construction going on at Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and all those projects.
There's tradespeople that are that are renting houses and bringing their campers and everything else.
Oh, sure.
Live here for years to work on those data centers.
Absolutely. And the schools do, well, they've had trouble with schools. I've heard of stories of schools that maybe would have one drywall contractor bid it, maybe one or two electricians bidding it. That's tough. I mean, you want to have competitive bidding for a project. Well, if one guy kind of gets word on the street that he might be the only guy bidding it, well, he's not going to try and lowball it. He knows he can have a chance to make some money. And it's not going to be gouging because that just doesn't work. You run the risk of someone else popping up at the last minute. Right. So you have to be reasonable in your price. But if you know it's not 5 guys or 10 guys you're bidding against, like I've seen in some years, you can at least come out with a reasonable price and give the customer a reasonable product. OPS is the other side of the coin. With the last bond issue there, I think that was like $400 million. So we got 2 high schools opening up this year, and I'm going to have a trivia question for you guys on this one.
This is
we'll
good.
See if you're ready for that.
Stump the boys.
Yep. So they got 2 new elementary schools. One going up Fort Crook and Childs. It's called Forest Station Elementary. Pine Elementary. If you're down in South Omaha, I'd like to go down to Casio's, look across the street. My company was involved in that one. That is Pine Elementary at 10th and Pine Street.
That's the old Grace University.
Yes, exactly. There was Gateway Elementary was built down in South Omaha, right next to where I used to work when I was growing up, down at 42nd S. Now there's 42nd Y is Blue Stem Middle School. They'd saved a chunk of that. So there'd be middle school and middle school and elementary school right next to each other. So now you got Westview High School. That's the one going up on 158th and Ida. Do you have any construction out there or anything you can promote? Or
nope, sorry.
No, okay.
No listings by that high school, Trenton.
Okay, well, build it and they will come. You'll have stuff coming. And you got Buena Vista at the old Ryan High School down at 60th and L Street. So here's the trivia question for you.
I did sell them some of the land.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 3 new high schools. Every high school has to have a name. And those names are important to the kids as they're growing up.
Right.
Okay, so Gretna, let's start with that one. Do you know what Gretna's mascot is?
The old Gretna
Aardvarks.
The old Gretna High School is the Dragons.
Dragons. Okay, that's a good hint right there. Get you.
The Griffins.
Very good.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
I read that somewhere.
Can we have a ding 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 for that or for getting that one? Westview High School, Northwest Omaha. What is their mascot?
The Maggots.
No.
The Demogorgons.
No. Small furry creature.
The Chinchilla.
The hamster.
Likes to live in a hole. There's a college team with that name.
Badgers.
Wolverines.
Okay.
You're close. You're getting close. Okay, Buena Vista. We're talking a much bigger animal for this one. Buena Vista.
I saw this one.
An elephant.
Staphylococcus.
No, not that big. Not that big. Well, no, not that big.
The ostriches.
No. Come on, get your head out of the sand.
Well played. Yeah. Give us we need one more hint.
Okay, that's one more hint.
What
It roamed the plains.
Buffalo.
Close.
Bison.
Very good.
Yeah,
you got it.
Bison.
There you go. So that's the school activity going on. And, of course, there's other projects going on with some other schools and refurbishing and additions. Bennington's got an elementary coming, so it just doesn't end. Everything's spreading out, but OPS is building up the core, like you were talking about earlier on, to take care of the kids that do live in town.
Well, Chip, we appreciate you bringing us up to speed with that because, we talk so much about construction, but we rarely mention schools, and it's millions and millions of dollars worth of school construction right now. 3 major high schools. That's impressive. Chip, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for the plug for VinNebraska.
Yeah, check out VinNebraska.com.
Yep, April 8th and 9th. And that's Chip Riedman, our good friend and construction expert. We'll have him back next year if he's willing. At any rate, before we go, though, I do want to give you the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies, noddlecompanies.com. And Noddle Companies has multiple projects throughout Omaha, like the Builders District, Steel Ridge in Papillion, Gretna area, Rivers Edge, and Council Bluffs. But today we talk about Exarban Village. Exarban Village is probably Noddle Company's most famous local project right now because it's Exarban Village. Got some good news. Contour Nail Bar has opened in the village. They're on the ground floor of the Right at Home building. There's a Chase Bank right there in the corner. They're just kind of tucked behind that. This is a very upscale, beautiful nail bar, and it is right south of of the Backlot Pizza and the Exarban Cinema, which is great, and not far from the new Saffron upscale Indian
I
restaurant.
wonder if they have a liquor license.
Because of the word bar?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe you just go there for sniffing the fumes or something.
I don't know. That starts to make me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
When you talk about like sniffing glue or airplane. Remember when people used to sniff airplane glue or something like that? I don't know. We should probably not even go there.
Yeah.
At any rate, Contour Nail Bar is open. Also at Exarban Village, with the weather turning, you're going to see a lot of outdoor programming in that space that's right by the inner rail.
Yeah, I'm excited for Exarban Village in the spring.
And I think we're going to hear about maybe some new attractions that are going to be outdoor, open to the public stuff within the next couple weeks, in addition to what's already there by that whole inner rail food court area. So that's going to be pretty cool stuff. Stay tuned. We'll have new updates on that pretty much every week. So that is your commercial real estate development spotlight, brought to you by Noddle Companies. And you can find them online at noddlecompanies.com. Going to take our final break of the hour. When we come back, it'll be the Turner Construction Lightning Round. And I'm looking at lots of things on the list, all sorts of restaurant updates. Don't want to miss it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And it's the Lightning Round, brought to you by Turner Construction. The Lightning Round is where we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. And Turner Construction is kind enough to bring that to you. And we thank Turner for everything they've done to make the Omaha area construction environment so much better. Turner has been getting people into the trades ever since they came to Omaha several years ago, and really has made a commitment to helping people become construction tradespeople. I tell you what, there are so many opportunities. Chip Riedman was mentioning the opportunities in construction just a little bit ago, and if you are a person that is in that industry looking for a great place to work, it is Turner. Also, great place that you would hire if you're looking for your projects. And a lot of people think, oh, yeah, Turner, based in New York City, huge, did the Sarpy County Data Center. They do small projects too.
A lot of build-outs.
And they do a great job of it. So we thank Turner Construction for bringing us this very valuable information. All right, the big story, the vacant Joe's Crab Shack restaurant at the Westroads is going to have an occupant. And it's going to be called Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews. This is based in Fargo, North Dakota. They have a location at 1203 Cornhusker in Bellevue. But Trenton, that building, right there by P.F. Chang's and Cheesecake Factory, right on Dodge. I think a lot of people were surprised it took so long to get a tenant in there.
Yeah, really, it's tried a couple different things. Originally, it was it mozzarella's? What was the original? Macaroni Grill. Macaroni Grill.
Like mozzarella.
Yeah.
You lost me on that. Okay, Macaroni Grill.
Grill, and then it was kind of like a Hooters type place that didn't work well. Brick House or something, I think it was called. And so I've been to these. It's not bad. It has mixed reviews, but you'd think that they would have done a focus group, and I think Sicky's is the gentleman's last name that owns it.
Yeah, it's a tough name for a restaurant. I'm not going to lie to you. But
God forbid you get food poisoning and you sue them, and they're like, "What do you expect?"
We called the place Sicky's, but no, I've heard it's a fun place to go to in Bellevue. I've yet to try it, but I'll definitely try it when it goes to the Stroads. Yeah. The Laughing Crab restaurant plans to open soon in about a 3,600 square foot building, Metro Crossing in Council Bluffs. It had been a barbecue place. I think it was called Cox Brothers Barbecue, and it's out.
That's where the Target store is. The Target's behind.
Oh, it's near a Target. Yeah, okay. I thought you were like, no, the building's way too small for a Target store.
No.
Okay.
The shopping center.
It's out of Des Moines, Iowa, and it serves Cajun seafood. They also have locations in Louisiana, Texas, and Wisconsin. Round the Bend Steakhouse. Have you ever been there?
No, I have not. I want to try it.
It's a cool, fun place. It's over by the Lee Simmons Wildlife Safari. They're just kind of south of Ashland. They are closed from March 7th to March 19th because they're doubling the size of their kitchen. So one would assume they'd be able to handle a bigger crowd after they get back open. After being temporarily closed since last spring, Sozo Coffee House has reopened at 1314 Jones in the Old Market. That's a big coffee shop if you've never been in there.
I've not been there.
And then Casanova's Butchery has opened in Rockbrook Village. This is a locally owned butcher shop, but it's upscale, like high-quality meats, poultries, cheeses, cured meats. They even have spirits and alcohol for sale.
Do they have sweet cheeses?
You would have to ask Casanova's for that. Mega Saver has opened its gas station convenience store in the former Aiken's Natural Foods store.
That's a big store.
84th and Center. You don't see that very often, that a gas station convenience store takes the corner of a retail strip.
Yeah, I sold it to them. It's next to that Westlake Ace Hardware. And they added on, it was kind of a slope going down, and they put a drive-through there. I thought that was impressive.
Yeah, I went over, I was in that area maybe just Thursday, and it's very interesting how creative people can get with real estate. If you really want to be on a site and you really want to serve 84th and Center, what a great creative way to make that happen. And then a couple other news items that might be of interest to you. One World Pediatric Dentistry is planning to build a facility near 84th and Q Street. The organization has 4 existing dental clinics. Construction bids are due March 22nd for a Rocket car wash in Bellevue's Twin Creek area. Also, Tidal Wave Car Wash has opened near 86th and Dodge. A local company, a local developer is planning 2 3-story apartment buildings that would have about 51 units and a clubhouse near 36th and Lexington Avenue in Bellevue. That's just a little bit south of 36th and Highway 370. Yep. And, you know, we don't necessarily talk about a lot of projects in Bellevue, but there are projects in Bellevue.
In Old Town. And
yeah. And as the Census Bureau pointed out when it came up with its official 2020 census numbers that were released last year, the city of Bellevue is getting kind of big. I mean, it's like pushing, 65, 70,000 people or something crazy like that right now. There are a lot of people that live in Bellevue. That's a nice-sized suburb. Hey, and then this is something that's kind of fun to consider. A new study shows a record 8.8 million Americans quit their jobs in November and December of last year, but Nebraska saw the number six lowest increase in quit rates during the pandemic.
Nice. Hardworking Nebraskans.
Yeah, you know, you can always count on that. I can remember years ago there was a study about the number of Nebraskans who work more than one job, or the percentage, rather, of Nebraskans who work more than one job was substantially higher than the national average, and maybe even the highest around. I think you may be able to accuse Nebraskans of being something, but lazy would not be among those things.
And we hold the record for the lowest unemployment, which makes sense.
A record 10.9 million jobs have remained unfilled since September, enough to employ every American. And wait a minute. Okay. I'm reading from this press release that told us about this. It says a record 10.9 million jobs have remained unfilled since September, enough to employ every American. That doesn't make much sense. But what does matter is that Nebraska...
Every unemployed American, so that everybody would have jobs, I think.
I think that's what they mean, yeah. Anyway, what matters is that Nebraska had the number 6 lowest quit rate during the pandemic. Good job, Nebraska. We're done. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trent Maggie.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAINP Dodge, D&M Roofing, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.